The moment I walked into the courtroom, she laughed. Not loud, just a soft, quick breath through her nose, but I heard it. Everyone else might have missed it, but not me. I'd know that laugh anywhere. It wasn't joy. It was mockery, like she'd already won. And beside her, her new husband's hand trembled where it rested on his knee. He tried to hide it, but I saw that too. The way his jaw tightened, the way his eyes wouldn't meet mine. He looked like a man holding something rotten inside and praying no one could smell it. I sat down at the table, my palms slick, my chest tightening. The hum of whispered conversations filled the room, but all I could hear was the echo of her laughter. We were here to finalize the divorce, to sign away a decade of shared life as if it were just paperwork. But beneath it all, there was something darker, something that had begun long before this day. I used to think betrayal happened in a single moment. That you could pinpoint the second someone turned their back on you. But I've learned it's slower than that. It seeps in. Starts as something small. A glance that lasts too long. A conversation that stops when you enter the room. I should have seen it. It began 2 years ago, the night she said she needed space. I just need to think, she'd told me, standing in the doorway with her coat half on. About us. About everything. I remember the way her eyes darted away when I asked where she was going. Just for a drive, she said. Please, don't make this harder. She was gone all night. When she came back, her hair was tangled, her eyes red. She said she'd stayed with a friend, that she'd cried, that she just needed air. I believed her because I wanted to. Because love makes you ignore what's right in front of you. After that, something between us changed. She became careful. Too careful. Her phone was always face down. She smiled less but laughed more at her messages. She smelled like new perfume, one I'd never bought her. Then came the late nights. Work, she said. We're understaffed. I wanted to trust her, but every time I reached for her in bed, she turned away, saying she was tired. The distance grew, quiet and sharp, like frost spreading across a window. One night, I decided to drive to her office. I told myself it was just to surprise her, maybe bring her dinner. But when I pulled into the parking lot, it was dark. Empty. Her car wasn't there. That was the first time the truth began to take shape. When she got home that night, I asked, "Rough shift?" She blinked, startled. "Yeah, why?" "You weren't at the office." She froze for just a second, then frowned. "I stopped by a client's place. You don't have to keep tabs on me, you know." Her defensiveness hit me harder than any confession would have. After that, I stopped asking. I told myself it was better not to know. But deep down, the truth was clawing its way up, waiting for the day I'd have no choice but to face it. That day came 3 months later. It was raining. She'd left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. The screen lit up once, twice, same number, no name. I didn't mean to look. But the message preview was there, impossible to ignore. "I can still taste you." My body went cold. I opened the message thread. There were dozens of them. Long, intimate, raw. Words she hadn't said to me in years. I read them until my hands shook too hard to scroll. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, she saw the phone in my hand and stopped dead. Her face drained of color. "Who is he?" I asked. My voice barely sounded human. She didn't answer, just sank onto the couch, covering her face with both hands. "Say it," I whispered. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said through tears. "It just did." "Who is he?" She looked up, and that was the moment everything broke. "You know him," she said. And I did. Her boss. The man who'd shaken my hand at every company dinner. The one who'd called me buddy and bought us drinks. I don't remember much after that. Just shouting, her crying, the sound of glass shattering as I threw her phone across the room. I left that night. Slept in my car because I couldn't bear to go back inside. Weeks passed. We spoke only through lawyers. The divorce moved quickly. I avoided her. Until today. Now, here we were, sitting across from each other like strangers who shared a secret neither wanted to admit out loud. The judge droned on, reading from the agreement. Property division, financial settlements, signatures required. I could feel her eyes on me, sharp and unflinching. When it came time to sign, she leaned forward, her voice low enough for only me to hear. "You can stop looking at me like I killed someone." I met her gaze. "Didn't you?" She smirked. "You'll get over it." That laugh again, quiet, bitter, cruel. Her new husband shifted beside her, his hand trembling slightly. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe fear. I didn't care. But when our eyes met, something flickered there. Something that told me he knew she wasn't done lying. The judge stamped the papers, and just like that, it was official. 10 years erased by ink and silence. As I stood to leave, I noticed her reach for the man's hand, but he didn't take it. Her smile faltered for a second. That was when I realized, whatever she'd destroyed in me, she'd already started destroying in him too. Outside, the air was cold and clean. I stood on the courthouse steps, breathing it in. I thought I'd feel empty, but I didn't. I felt steady. Lighter somehow. Because betrayal cuts deep, but once it's over, the wound doesn't bleed forever. It hardens, scars, and becomes something else. She'd laughed in the courtroom, but someday she'd understand the cost. And maybe that's justice enough.